Cookies and milk, peanut butter and jelly, and luxury and performance are all things that go extremely well together. And if you are looking for a luxury car with some pep in its step but are not looking to break the bank, I have got the video for you, because today I'm reviewing the 2024 Genesis G70, and we're going to start off with the most budget-friendly version, the G70 2.5. The 2.5 part of that whole equation is actually the engine, as most of you deduced, up from a 2-liter. Now all 2024 4-cylinders are a 2.5-liter turbocharged engine, and it now also cranks out 300 horsepower. Now, all those ponies are channeled to the wheels through an 8-speed automatic transmission, and luckily enough, you have your option of having a rear-wheel drive car or an all-wheel drive one as well. Speaking of the wheels, all G70s also do have 19-inch rims, which complement the elegant lines very nicely. And another bonus, with the 300 horsepower, you're going to need a little bit more stopping power. So every single 2024 G70 also has Brembo brakes included as standard equipment. Being that the 2024 G70s are much more potent than the previous models, something else the engineers did that is pretty cool is actually include launch control in the 4-cylinders now. Simply select the Sport Plus, push the traction control button until stability control is disabled, then full left foot braking, full right foot on the accelerator, and launch control is ready to zip you from 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds as tested by Motor Trend. Now, parking the G70 and walking around to the rear, you're going to see something that used to be an upgrade. Instead of having a single-sided exhaust like the previous models, all 4-cylinders now bring dual exit exhaust to illustrate its newfound athleticism. As far as ease of use, check out the key. Not only is this the same design as in the flagship G90, but it still has Smart Trunk. That means if a person needs to access the trunk, they do not need to kick their leg for the trunk to unlatch. Simply have the key in your possession, stand near the trunk for a few seconds, and pop goes the trunk lid. Oh, and by the way, since I actually sell these cars here in Orlando, I want to give you an extra $500 YouTube discount. All you have to do is click the link below that says schedule with Miguel, make an appointment, then come on in. Not only will I give you the most amount off that I can on a car, but I'm going to give you the extra $500 on top of it for the YouTube bonus. All you have to do is show up and let me help you out. But now that you know that, let's get back to the car. Now, driving a G70 can be pretty exciting, but the Genesis engineers also wanted their owners to enjoy the safety just as much as the drive. For example, out front, Forward Collision Avoidance Assist helps apply brakes if a possible collision is sensed and the driver takes no actions to stop it. Down both sides of the car, you also have blind spot sensors that will alert drivers if anybody is cruising in their blind spots, and out back you do have the protection of rear crash traffic with Collision Avoidance Assist. So if you've been rushing through your day, your G70 has the ability to make sure that your lack of patience doesn't turn into abundance of stress by hitting the brakes of the vehicle and preventing you from hitting whatever's behind you. Inside, all of the things you should be considering as standard equipment is present on this luxury car. Classy interior seating, 10.25-inch touchscreen with factory navigation plus Apple and Android connectivity, not to mention dual zone air conditioning and heated seats as well. The rear seats are just as nice as the front, although taller passengers will definitely prefer to ride up front. But with that said, rear legroom is still pretty adequate for this class of vehicle. With all of those features being standard on the baseline model, you know it's only going to get better from here. So, let's go ahead and check out the G70 2.5 Sport Prestige. Although the body still has the smooth lines as the standard G70, the details are what make the biggest differences. Now, the most obvious exterior difference are the rims. They still set at 19 inches, but with a different design that still gives an air of sophistication. And if you happen to like air flowing through your hair, you definitely should start off with the Sport Prestige 2.5, because this is where the sunroof first makes its appearance. Few more exterior details are the trim pieces, because now on the 2.5 Prestige, you actually do get the dark chrome touches to further separate the standard model from this very package. Plus, when prospective buyers unlock their vehicle, the mirrors now unfold, and although daylight makes it impossible to see, owners will be treated to the Genesis logo projected onto the ground as they make their approach to the car. As you open the doors, those little details become more and more apparent. For example, Sport Prestige doesn't offer regular pedals, it offers aluminum pedals. Sport Prestige doesn't just offer leatherette seats, it actually offers leather seats. And the driver's seat will also benefit from a memory function, remembering positions of the mirrors, steering wheel, and seat itself to save time getting ready for the road just by pushing a button. And when the G70 does hit the road, everybody inside is going to benefit from a heightened musical experience with the beautiful Lexicon surround sound audio system. Now, although the interior layout stays essentially the same, there are a few differences in functionality. For example, something else that sprouts out of the Sport Prestige package are the front and rear parking sensors. So whether you like to reverse park or pull straight in, drivers will now get an audible tone that lets them know how much space they have to take advantage of. Taking another look at the air conditioning controls, you'll be happy to note that you still do have dual zone air conditioning with heated seats, but it also has a new function. The seats not just warm up anymore, but now they're ventilated so they can cool down too. And if you happen to look under those very air conditioning controls, you're going to see yet another function: wireless device charging for any type of smart device you might happen to have in your pocket. I would venture to say that the 4-cylinder Sport Prestige is an amazingly equipped car, and if your only gripe about it is only having a mere 300 horsepower, well, I have an amazing introduction because this next G70 has a V6. It is called the Sport Advanced. If you zip around the outside, you would not be able to tell which car is which unless you look specifically at the trunk lid, because it does say 3.3T, which references what is under the hood. A new twin turbocharged 3.3 liter V6 that cranks out 365 horsepower. Along with the new engine is a new exhaust, because every V6 G70 is going to bring the variable exhaust system, which changes how the car sounds depending on which drive mode that you select. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, it is a lot faster, doing the 0 to 60 time in 4.5 seconds. And in case you're wondering, yes, the G70 V6s all have launch control too. Now, if you happen to hate taking keys in your pocket, you're going to love this next feature, because every single V6 brings something called Genesis Digital Key, which means instead of only being able to lock and unlock your car from your phone, you can actually use your phone to drive your car around town. If these package names are starting to make your head spin, I do apologize, but if you'll allow me, I'm just going to get you a little bit dizzier, because up next, we're going to upgrade from the Sport Advanced to the top level G70, the V6 version of the Sport Prestige. From the outside, the V6 version of the Sport Prestige is basically indistinguishable from the rest of the model lines, unless you happen to notice the cameras poking out of the front grille or underneath the rearview mirrors. Only the highest version of the G70 happens to get those cameras, and if you happen to push the parking camera button, you will see a 360-degree bird's eye view of the G70 and what happens to be around it at the time. The bird's eye view is super impressive, but it's only really available at parking lot speeds. But there's something else that's equally impressive. It is called blind view monitor. So if you're driving down the road and happen to put on your surge signal, you're going to see what's on the left or right side of the car. That way, if you're trying to change lanes, you could have visual confirmation on whether it's clear or not. All V6 Sport Prestiges include heads-up display. That means the drivers will be able to see things like speed, navigational arrows, and even blind spot alerts without ever taking their eyes off the road. If you happen to glance through the cabin, you're going to notice a lot of little details which really exude even more elegance over the previous models, like the soft touch suede headliner that you only find in the top level G70, or just take a look at the seats. Rear seats, front seats, or even the door panels, they are all cloaked in Napa quilted leather. And although this next feature isn't visible, the electronically controlled suspension will stiffen the ride when sport mode is selected, or soften it when you select comfort. And that's why the 3.3 Sport Prestige reigns supreme in the land of G70. And so guys, those are some of the biggest differences in the 2024 Genesis G70 models. And no, I didn't talk about every single little detail of the car because it would take way too long and I'm too fun for that. But if you like these videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell notification so that way you can know exactly when I upload the newest videos. But until next time, I'm a Gary Car Guy, and I'll see you soon.